Hi, this is Yoga with Domini and I'm Domini. Today we're just going to do a very short, about 10 minutes, just beginner flow. So for anyone who hasn't really done yoga before, doesn't really know much about it, it's just a very short one just to sort of, for you to just do so you can see really what it's about and see whether it's the sort of thing you like. If it is, then perhaps you can go on to my other videos and see what other things that I've got and try some different things out. Hopefully you like it. So we'll just start in a seated pose. So this is called easy pose. Basically just sitting cross-legged. Try and have nice posture, so don't slouch, basically. We're gonna take our arms up over our heads and breathe in. And then breathe out as we bring our arms down. So a lot of the time with yoga and Pilates, you're moving with the breath. Trying to breathe with the movements, in and out, in and out. And a lot of the time we breathe out with the effort. So whenever you're doing anything that exerts effort, you would breathe out at that point and then you breathe in as you're not doing so much effort. But again, as I said, as long as you're breathing, whatever feels good for you. We'll be doing a few different poses and things today, and I'll be saying how I'm breathing, but I'll be letting you know, that you can just breathe however you want, basically, as long as you are breathing. So in and out. Last one, in and out. We'll just do some neck stretches just to warm up the neck. So just tilting the head from side to side. Don't bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Keep your shoulders down. You're just moving your ears in the direction of the shoulder, but they're not going to get down there. Just moving from side to side, just nice and gently. So don't go swinging your head from side to side. You'll just do yourself a mischief that way. So nice and gently. And usually I would breathe in on the way up, breathe out as I stretch. In and out, in and out. We'll do one more. And then just bring your head down and back. But again, very gently, don't push it too far, don't swing your head, don't use momentum. So I'm breathing in and out. In as I tilt my chin up to the sky, and out as I tilt my chin down towards my chest. You might want to do it the other way. You might want to breathe out here and in here. That might feel better for you. Everyone's different. But like I said, as long as you're breathing, you'll find that with my videos, I'm constantly banging on about the breath, but it is important. Okay, some shoulder rolls. So just rolling your shoulders up and back, breathing in and out, and the other way. That will do. And then what we're going to do is come on to hands and knees for what we call tabletop pose. So you want to try and make sure that your hips in line with your knees, your ankle is in line with your knees, so you're not sort of bringing your feet in or splaying them out and getting a twist in that knee joint. Try and keep everything in line. Wrists, elbows, shoulders all in line. And then splaying your fingers out like that, so you're not dumping all your weight into your wrists. You want to try and dump some weight into, I shouldn't say dump, put some weight into your knuckles and fingers as well. But if this doesn't feel good, you can always come up onto fists, which definitely makes it feel a bit better. Or if you've got blocks, if you haven't got blocks, you can use DVDs, books, anything like that. And you can just come onto your forearms. Instead, you might want them on that setting, or you might need them a bit more on that setting, just to make sure that you're not sort of dipped down in more of a, what we call like a puppy pose. But that's entirely up to you. What you need to do And we're just going to do some cat-cows. So cat-cows is spinal flexion and extension, just warming up the spine. You warm up the hips, a few other bits and pieces, shoulders, neck as well. The cow part of it is to dip your belly down. So you're trying to bring your navel down towards, intending it towards the mat. Obviously it's not going to get there. As you do that, you just lift your gaze up slightly. So don't really wrench the neck back and start getting, I can feel that in my back there, this doesn't feel good. So just dipping the belly down gently and just lifting the gaze up gently. And I usually breathe in here and then I breathe out as I go into cat pose, which would be rounding my spine up towards the ceiling and tucking my chin to my chest. So breathing in, just dipping the belly down just as far as is comfortable for you, just lifting the gaze slightly and then breathing out as you curve your back up towards the ceiling and tuck your chin to your chest. But again, you might find that you breathe out on this bit, on the cow bit, and breathe in on the cat bit, or the other way around, whatever feels good for you. So I breathe in here and out here. And then one more cat. Back to what we call a neutral spine, so that would be just a normal tabletop pose, holding your core in, trying to keep your back flat basically, not dipped down or curved up. The next one would be downward facing dog. So you would bring your hands just a little bit further out in front of you there so that your arms are a little bit more of a diagonal. Tuck your toes under, bring your bum back towards your heels a bit, and then bring your bum up to the ceiling. You may have seen this pose a lot with people with their heels on the ground, straight legs. You don't have to do that. It's mainly not about the legs, it's mainly about keeping your arms nice and straight. So you want the elbow creases to be facing each other, pointing inward. You can have a slight diagonal with your hands, they don't have to be straight. Again, keeping your fingers flared a little, just gently, and try not to dump all of the weight into your wrists, trying to put a bit into your knuckles and fingers as well. And then you're aiming to bring your bum up to the sky and push your chest towards your thighs. So if you can't get your feet all the way down to the mat, this is my first movement of the day today, so I'm a little bit tight anyway, tight hamstrings, tight calves. So I'm going to pedal it out a little bit here, which you can do. But you absolutely do not have to have your heels touching the floor, and if you need to, which most of us will, have a bend in your legs. The aim of this isn't to put your heels to the floor and have straight legs, because then you're like this. And your back's arching and you're leaning more over your arms, they're not straightened back. You're pushing your shoulders back towards your bum, straightening your back. So that's downward facing dog. We're going to go into a forward fold, so what I want you to do is just walk your feet up to the top of the mat, keep folded over. So again, you're trying to push your torso here in towards your thighs. So in order to do that, you will more than likely, especially if you're not used to doing yoga, need to have a bend in these knees, in these legs, which is absolutely fine. You might not be able to get all the way down. If we were coming from the top of the mat like this, my cue would be to hinge at the hips. So breathing in and breathing out and hinge from the hips. Absolutely bend those knees if you need to. Trying to keep that back straight and then fold down from there. We're going to roll up. So breathing in, arms out wide, rolling up, arms down by your side. Mountain pose. So mountain pose is basically what it looks like. You're just standing at the top of the mat. But it isn't that easy, or it isn't that simple, I should say. It's not just as simple as we're standing at the top of the mat. You want to still engage your core, so drawing your navel to your spine. The way I sort of describe it, which sometimes helps, is sort of bracing for a punch. So if someone's going to punch you, you'd sort of brace that area. Not quite that dramatic, but a similar sort of feel to it. So you're bracing your core. That will inevitably tuck your tailbone under slightly and bring your pelvis forward. You're engaging your glutes as well. Feet about hip width apart, maybe just a little bit more. You can put your hands to your side and shine your palms forward. If that doesn't feel right, that rotation in the shoulders there doing that, just bring your palms in like this. Another pose that you see a lot in yoga classes and sessions is chair pose. So basically that's where we just sit back. We're in mountain pose and we go back and we sit back as if we're going to sit in a chair. There's two different ways that I do this. A lot of the time I will tell people to bring their big toes together and have a little bit of a gap, a couple of inches maybe, between their heels. So your feet are sort of like that, big toes together, and you've got your heels apart a couple of inches. Again, you should have that core brace. You should be tucking that tailbone under so you don't have duck bum. Your bum sticking out like this. You want to flatten that lower back area so you're not putting any pressure on it basically, and you're tightening your core to protect it as well. So breathing in, arms up, shoulders away from your ears, and then you would sit back as if you're sitting in a chair. If that feet position doesn't feel right, you can always bring them about hip width apart and do it that way. Just keep that core engaged, keep that tailbone tucked, because you don't want to be like this, your bum sticking out. I can feel that in my lower back already. Just tuck it all nicely under. And then from here we'll go into a forward fold. So that forward fold again, just rolling down, bringing your belly to your thighs. So having a bend in these knees. And then halfway lift, so as we breathe in, I bring my hands to my legs and just bring them up, and you want to try to have your torso parallel to the floor. And again, you're sort of tucking that tailbone slightly so you've got a flat back. And then as you breathe out, back down again. We're going to come back into that tabletop pose. So bring your knees to the mat. And from here we're going to bring our right leg up to the top of the mat in between our hands. So do that however you need to. You can bring your foot here and then just sort of toe heel it in. Or you can bring it out and then toe heel it in. However you need to do it. And low lunge from here. So you would then lunge into that front leg. Like that. Try and keep your knee over your ankle. You can have your knee slightly over your ankle, so more towards the toes, and it's still fine. You just don't want to be like this, really, for a low lunge. That's kind of almost going into trying to do a splits type situation, and that's a completely different thing. And then switch sides, so bring the left leg up to the middle and then just lower those hips down towards the floor, lean, lunge into that front leg. And you can have your hands on this leg if that helps. Or again, you can bring blocks and hold on to them. There's loads of different variations of different things we can do in this. This is just a very short beginner sort of intro thing. We'll keep it simple. And then from here, we're just going to go back into that forward fold again. So bring your back leg up to meet the front one at the top of the mat in that forward fold, and just roll up one vertebrae at a time, breathing in and out. I'm going to show you Warrior 1 and Warrior 2 because they're sort of basic. yoga class poses. So warrior one would be stepping back. You keep your front toes pointing forward to the top of the mat, and again you lean into or lunge into that front leg, knee over ankles. You can have it slightly further forward towards the toes if you need to, but basically what you're aiming for, just to keep it simple. Try not to overcomplicate everything, so we have these certain things that we go for. Just keep it simple to begin with, otherwise you're like, what? Why would I be doing that, and why is there different positions, and you know, just gets complicated. So if you just keep to that, knee over ankle, whenever you're in any lunge situation for now, that's fine. You don't want to like I said, overcomplicate things and confuse yourself. This back leg should be straight, and these toes are pointing at a diagonal across the room. So they're about a 45-degree-ish angle, whereas these are pointing forward, straight forward. You want to try and keep your hips pointing forward as well, but if that's not great for your knee or your lower back, you can always have them a slight tilt in them. So bringing this hip that's attached to this back leg, this straight leg, back slightly if you need to. Otherwise, try and keep them squared. What also helps as well, if you're feeling it in your knee and that it doesn't feel great, is to bring this foot out just a little bit wider. You shouldn't have the feet in line anyway, like as if you're on a tightrope. They should be on two separate rails next to each other, so a couple of inch gap between them. So this one's here and this one's here next to it but behind it. You can also, like I said, you can always bring that just a tiny bit further over if that helps with that rotation and feeling a bit better in your hip and knee. But just play around with it. What's good about yoga is everybody's different, and everybody, as long as you're doing it properly, sort of safely, so you're not going to hurt yourself, everyone has different ways of doing poses, and there's so many different variations that you can do, and according to your anatomy and what you can do, you can just sort of change how you do it, like I said, as long as you're doing it safely and not hurting yourself. So just mess about. That's part of the fun, is to do poses and just sort of look up different variations and mess about with it, play with it, use blocks, use pillows, use blankets, fold them up, put them under things, on things, you know, just messing about with it. And you want so we've got that position, this leg's where it's meant to be, this leg's where it's meant to be. Hips are pointing forward or almost forward. And then you want a nice posture again. So when we talk about posture, you still want that natural curve of the spine. You just don't want to stick your bum out like this or be hunching over like this. So nice straight shoulders, nice integrity in the shoulders and the back, the hips, everything. Arms up above your head, shoulders away from your ears. And that would be warrior one. Warrior two, we basically just do that. So similar thing with the legs. This leg's pretty much exactly the same. This one, the only thing that changes is that your foot now points directly over to that side. So for me, my right leg's pointing forward, my left leg's pointing left, my left foot's pointing left. Completely, there's no slight angle to it, it's just straight over to the left. Hips are definitely staggered now, not squared, because that would really mess up your knee and your hips. So they can definitely be quite staggered. Again, you just want that nice posture, so you don't want to be slouching over here like this. Nice and straight posture. I say to think of it like you've got a string going all the way up and out the top of your head and someone's pulling on it. So you want to grow a few centimetres taller in this position. Arms out straight, shoulders away from your ears, and you can look over your front hand. Palms down generally. You can have them up if you wanted to. You can have your hands here, you can have them here, here, wherever you want. Like I said, there's no one way to do anything, but just to keep it simple, this is your warrior two. Try not to let your knee collapse in or out. Try and keep it in line with your toes. So if I'm looking down now, my knee is slap bang in the middle of my foot, tracking in the exact same position as those toes. And then triangle, we would just straighten this front leg. You can have a slight micro bend in it, it's probably good if you do. So don't collapse into it. Slight little bend. We would then move these fingers forward towards that wall in front of you. So you are leaning your body forward before you go down. And again, you can lean on this leg a little bit if you need to, but as long as you're just not pressing into this knee, so make sure it's on your shin and you've got that little micro bend in your knee. You can always use blocks as well. Or if you don't want to go down that far, you can lean on your thigh. This arm comes up above your head. If you don't like that, if it's horrible for your shoulders, you can keep it here. But just try not to lean into this arm too much. You're trying to use core strength. So you're keeping your body straight. Again, you're not collapsing into it like this. Everything's nice and straight. Integrity. Triangle pose. And then to come out of that, usually we would just use core and back strength to just bring ourselves back up again, warrior two or whatever position you want to go into. We'll just do that on the other side, just so we've done the other side. So warrior one. Warrior two. Triangle. And then back up. We're going to go down onto the mat, onto our bums, what we call our sit bones, and bring our legs out in front of us. This would be a seated forward fold. Sometimes it helps if you've got really tight hamstrings to bring something under your bum and just elevate your bum up a little bit more. You can absolutely have a bend in your knees before you fold over, and as you're folding over, you can have something under your knees as well if that helps. But basically, legs out in front of you. Again, that nice posture, so sitting up nice and straight, no slouching. Breathe in, arms up. And as you breathe out, just fold forward. And this might be it. That might be as far as you go. That's absolutely fine. If you want to go a little bit deeper, definitely need to bend your knees. Don't force anything. If you start off bending your knees and you keep doing it with your knees bent, and then over time, they might go down just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until they're flat to the ground. Don't try and push your body to do something it doesn't want to do too soon. It's progression, it takes time. So don't rush yourself, and no egos. Leave your egos at the door. Don't be like, oh, I must look like this in this pose and I must look perfect. If it feels bad, no. Take it slowly, progress, step by step at a time. And then seated twist. So again, you're in easy pose. You just cross your legs, I'll breathe in and arms up. And then as I breathe out, I just twist over to the right, and I'm bringing my left hand to my right knee, twisting from the mid back. So you don't want to twist from your lower back, from your lumbar region. You don't want to try and like really wrench round and twist an area that's not meant to twist that way. From your mid back, twisting. And just gently looking over this right shoulder. I've got my right arm behind me, just up on my fingertips there to help me keep my posture. So I'm not slouching in it. I'm sitting up nice and straight, looking over. If you don't like that, if that's too much, you can always just keep your hands here or keep this hand here. Don't have to go as far into it, like I said. Just if you go into the pose and you think, oh, that doesn't feel good, come out of it slightly. If it still doesn't feel good, come out of it a little bit more until you start to feel Like you can feel it's working, but it feels fine. It's not painful. If you get any pain, any twinging in your lower back especially, definitely ease out of it or just stop it completely. And then we'll go to the other side. So breathing in, arms up and out. Twist into the other side. I have a feeling that this video is overrun. I don't think it's 10 minutes. Sorry, I do tend to gab on, but I really like to be thorough. Obviously I'm going to miss bits and pieces out. You might have questions, and if you do, that's absolutely fine. Just leave them in the comment section and I'll answer them for you. Because I can't remember everything all the time. I'm not like super computer brain. But I do try to be very thorough when I'm teaching people how to do stuff. I try and get every tiny little bit in there and give variations and tell them, you know, to take it slowly, one step at a time, and they'll get quicker or better at it with time and stuff like that. So I do tend to gab on a little bit because I am one of those people that likes to do it properly. I would never want you to hurt yourself or anything like that. So again, like I said, you know, remember those rules. If you feel any pain or discomfort, stop doing it, or ease out of it first, see if that helps. If it doesn't, just stop doing it. If there's like real severe pain, just stop doing it completely. Listen to your body. You know your body better than anybody else, better than me. I'm not there to guide you in person, so I can only do what I can do from here. So yeah, listen to your body, do what it tells you to do. Push it to a point where you're trying to make progress, but not to a point where you're going to cause yourself injury, basically. And then, yeah, we'll go into child's pose because that's another basic one. You want to try and get your bum to your heels. Your big toes are together again, so you've got a distance between your heels and your big toes are touching, a bit like what we did with the chair pose. Trying to push your sit bone, so your bum, down to your heels. Lengthen your back, so that good posture again. Like when I say that, I mean like when they tell you to sit properly in a chair, that kind of thing. You're not trying to get your back into any position that doesn't feel right. You're just not slouching. So don't sort of slouch down like this. Make sure you're sitting upright. Breathing in. As you breathe out, just bring your hands forward, out in front of you. Just walk them out until your forehead touches the mat. Now, for a lot of you, you might not be able to do this. It looks easy, but really it isn't if you're not used to doing it. Different things you can do is if you're fine with this area, but you're struggling to get your head down to the mat, is you can, I don't know if you can see me with the cat there, but put one fist on top of the other and then rest your head on it, like that. And then that just brings the floor up to you a little bit. You can always use cushions, blankets, blocks, anything like that. You can have some under your chest as well. So if you're doing this and then you're finding that it feels really uncomfortable in your chest, you can always bolster that up a little bit. Just put a block or a blanket or a pillow or something under your chest and do that. If you're finding this bit's not too bad, but it's this bit that you're struggling with, you can't get your hips down to your heels, what you can do is get blankets or pillows. There's two different ways that I found anyway. You can put it here behind the knee crease and then come back. You're not going to be able to get your bum to your heels, but it just gives you, again, it sort of brings your lower leg up to your top leg a little bit more, a bit like when we say bringing the floor up to you, you're bringing the lower leg up to meet your thighs a little bit more. If that doesn't feel good, over the ankles. So put a pillow or a blanket over the ankles there, just fold it up, put it over the ankles and then come back, and your bum will sit on that blanket or pillow there. And so again, you're bringing your lower leg up to meet your upper leg rather than trying to force your upper leg down towards the lower leg, if that makes sense. So you would be a bit more up like this, but your bum would still be leaning on a blanket or a pillow or a block. I mean, blocks aren't going to be very comfortable, to be perfectly honest, having it there. Not as comfortable as a pillow, but you get the gist of it. So my bum is now leaning on that block rather than trying to force it down towards my feet, which it doesn't want to do. And then again, the more you do that, you might find in a few weeks' time that you don't need to fold the blanket so much or the blocks too much, so you just need a little pillow. And then after a bit more time, you might not need the pillow anymore. So you just work your way up, try not to force your body into any positions that it doesn't want to be in. And for today, that's it. So there's more basic poses. And if you like this video, just let me know, give it a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments. If you've got any questions, just ask me in the comments. And if you do like this video, then I'll do another one with different poses, different basic beginner poses, or just telling you how to do variations of certain poses. Because with those warrior poses there that I did, there are other variations that you can do as well. If you don't like standing, if you've got balance issues, there's different poses you can do that work the same or similar muscles, but you can do them on the floor. So that could be something that you'd like to see in a video. So yeah, just like, subscribe, tell me what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day, take care, bye.